I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did that.
To apologize, it's too late.
When I did it, I was fucked up.
It's too late to apologize.
I was fucked up.
It's too late.
When I did it, I was fucked up. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that.
I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy a bitch.
Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. They bitches too. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah. Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah.
You don't hit women when you're a man. You don't hit women when you're a man. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy a bitch.
Sean Combs is a bitch. Yeah.
I'm not going to call P. Diddy a bitch or any other name like that. But I ain't gonna stop anybody else from doing it. I'm not gonna malign them. P. Diddy a bitch. 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 P. Diddy.
Nobody knows why liars lie. Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. It's God's side and the other side. Country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good. Okay, bitch, and look like Mr. Potato Head.
I didn't want to be a movie star.
No, you couldn't be a movie star. Ricky Smiley can't act. Cause Ricky Smiley can't act. Why is he in a dress again? He didn't be wanting to Barbie. And you gotta tell him no. Said ain't got no special, you remember. Eve ain't got no special, you remember. Ricky ain't got no special, you remember. Sir, I have 12 comedy specials. P. Diddy or whoever you is. TVJ, 20 of them. I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. Rubble on top of rubble and I'll still be bombing. Look like a wall, Richard. Look like a wall. You didn't say no. Look like a wall, Richard. Look like a wall. You didn't say no.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call, honey, so get ready for it. Okay, so as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, okay? Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur and on X at DGoddess27, and as per usual, if you don't like the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it, honey, because I tell y'all what, Oprah and TD Jakes think they're slick, honey. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. They think they are so slick, but we're going to get into all of it. Now, with that all being said, you all in the chat were not doing your due diligence on yesterday when the Queen was on live the second time, because when I was showing you the updates from Inner City Press about the Diddy jury selection, I looked at the video later on and I saw that there was something about Albie Shore that I didn't even notice. And you all didn't notice it either, or did you all notice it and just didn't say anything? I told y'all about letting the Queen slip. Okay, now I'm gonna need y'all to be on your P's and Q's. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, we're gonna be live again at 2 o'clock. I know I usually go on around 6, but today I think I'm gonna go on about 2 o'clock. I'm about to drop the link right now because I have already posted it. For those of you who haven't heard, clearly if you're under a rock, you may not know that this black man took out an officer, okay, ran him over with his car and took the man's life because another officer shot his son. They're calling it the eye for an eye case. Now, there is the link to it. Okay, I'm going to be talking about that at 2 o'clock, so make sure you tune in. Okay, y'all don't want to miss it. Okay, you don't want to miss it. So let's get into it, honey, because you know yesterday I played for you all. Was it the first video? I can't remember. Yeah, it was the first video yesterday. Okay. Hold on. Measurement said, y'all know Jag has ran over to them people's platforms, throwing Albie Shore in the mess, saying the book wasn't a lie, etc. Well, we've already pretty much proven the book was a lie, so that's not even an issue. That's not even a topic. People can say what they want, but that book is a lie. Courtney Burgess is a lie. Chris Todd was a lie. Okay, it's all a lie. Now, as to what I was saying, I played the video of Harvey Levin and Mark Geragos, okay, who supposedly has joined Diddy's team as an advisor and senior counsel. Okay, so now with that all being said, do y'all know that the prosecution is so butthurt and bothered that Mr. Geragos has chosen to join? Honey, they don't know what to do. So what they did do was they wrote a little letter whining and crying and groveling and complaining to the judge, wanting the judge to put Mr. Geragos in check. So let's talk about that first, because I find it all so interesting and clearly nefarious. Okay, does Mr. Geragos have them scared? Right, I believe so. I believe so. Okay, so let me just pull up this documentation. And I also have the jury questionnaire. Now, I know I showed you all that before, the jury questionnaire, but of course it changed after, you know, I gave you all like the rough draft, okay, because they said the judge had to agree to some of this stuff or whatever. So I'm going to show you all that. I'm not really going to go over it. I don't feel like reading all the questions. It's 17 pages long, and I clearly don't feel like reading all of that, okay, and I don't think it's that important. Okay, so with that all being said, now let's talk about it, because here's what they said. Y'all get those likes up, and for those of you who have not been receiving the notifications, please double check. And all of my new subscribers, shout out to you, and shout out to the replay gang who's going to watch this later. But all of my new subscribers, make sure that you double check, okay, on a regular, to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving your notifications, because the one thing about it is they don't mind unsubscribing people. Okay, so let's talk about it, honey, because this was filed today. This was filed today, so it had to be early this morning, honey. Okay, please pay attention. Now, here's what they say. Dear Judge Subramanian, the government respectfully writes following the first day of jury selection in the above captioned matter. During the course of jury selection, despite the presence of 7 defense attorneys who have filed notices of appearance in this case, a jury consultant, the defense team appeared to consult with Mark Geragos and other members of the Geragos and Geragos law firm who were present in court. Mr. Geragos and his firm have a long-standing relationship with the defendant. Okay, now you remember that Geragos did say that he's known Diddy for years, okay? He's represented him before as well. Okay, so anyway, but neither Mr. Geragos nor any member of his firm has filed a notice of appearance in this case. Nevertheless, given Mr. Geragos' apparent role as an advisor to the defendant and the defense team, the government respectfully requests the court to remind Mr. Geragos and members of his firm of their obligations pursuant to Local Rule 23.1, specifically Rule 23.1c. It states that during a jury trial of any criminal matter, including the period of a selection of the jury process or the jury, no lawyer or law firm associated with the defense shall give or authorize any extrajudicial statement or interview relating to the trial or the parties or issues in the trial which a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication if there is a substantial likelihood that such dissemination will interfere with a fair trial. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because I'm about to tell y'all what these suckers are up to. Okay? I want y'all to pay attention. Now, pay attention to the fact that they said is a substantial likelihood that such dissemination will interfere with a fair trial. Honey, they're trying to flip the script. They have pulled out the reverse Uno card and laid it on the judge's bench and told him, listen, we already know they're going to try to say that the trial wasn't fair so they can get a mistrial, so they can try to get it overturned on appeal and try to have another trial possibly or whatever, or just have Diddy get off. But guess what, Your Honor? They might be the reason for the unfair trial because Mr. Geragos has been running his mouth. I want y'all to pay attention, okay? That's what they're up to. They think they are so slick, honey. But anyway, they're really pressed that Mr. Geragos has joined the team, okay? That's what that is. And mind you, these prosecutors that are going against Diddy, there's 6 of them and they're all white women. Okay, so a bunch of Karens. I just want y'all to pay attention to them. They're going for Diddy's head, honey. Okay, so, and I'm going to say this. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. Okay, because I don't want to hear anybody's mouth. But I'm just going to keep that to myself for now. But, so they go on to say the need for the court's admonishment is necessary, honey. They want the judge to scold Mr. Geragos, okay? They want him to go in and drag him. They say the need for the court's admonishment is necessary, given that as recently as 3 days ago, Mr. Geragos spoke at length about the trial in this case on his podcast, Two Angry Men, Lord have mercy. That's literally what I showed you all yesterday, what I let y'all listen to. Honey, they are mad and pressed about it. And you know why they're really mad? Because of the things that he was saying, okay? Because he really has questions about the strength of their case. And so do they. That's why they're doing all of this. That's why they're trying to file all this stuff. They're just trying to do everything they can because clearly they're desperate. Diddy's desperate too, but so's the prosecution. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, they said that he spoke in his podcast, Two Angry Men. Mr. Geragos' podcast with Harvard Levin, the creator of the tabloid news organization TMZ. During the podcast, Mr. Geragos opined on a variety of topics, including characterizing specific pieces of evidence in this case, describing the government's use of the Intercontinental Hotel video surveillance as character assassination. I'm sorry, but that's his opinion. Okay, that's his opinion, and that is why they want to use it. Okay, well, he can't tell the truth, so the truth isn't allowed. I'm sorry, say what? Here's the thing. It is character assassination. Now, we all know Diddy did it. We saw the tape. But the point is, they want to use it when they initially were going to use it. They wanted to use it to assassinate his character. That's the only reason, because we know darn well they can't charge him for any of that, and it's past the statute of limitations, and really it is prejudicial, as I've told you 1,000 times. Okay, so they're clearly desperate, grasping at straws, and they know it. Okay, but let me continue. So they go on to say that he said it was character assassination and the makeup of the prosecution team handling the case, observing that it could look like you're prosecuting a cause. The arguments the defense intends to make, noting that the defendant has a violent temper, and especially, I think, when you combine it with drug use, but that isn't what he's charged with. So they're mad that he said that too. Because guess what? He didn't lie. That isn't what he's charged with. Okay. Now, in the podcast, Mr. Geragos advises listeners that he will be back next week to discuss it further. So they want to shut him down before he comes back and says anything next week. Okay, now as the defendant has repeatedly observed in the context of seeking relief pursuant to Local Rule 23.1, courts have an independent obligation to avoid the creation of a carnival atmosphere in high-profile cases. I know they didn't. I know they didn't. Now, see, here's why I have a problem with this, okay? Because this is the pot calling the kettle black, okay? This is the pot calling the kettle black. I want y'all to pay attention. Now, they're sitting up here trying to throw stones when they live in glass houses, as far as I'm concerned. Because they go on to say, hold on, where was I? Okay, so they go on to say that, you know, here's the problem right here. When he said that Diddy was violent, because he's known Diddy for years, and then he said combine that with drug use. See, they don't like that because they know that he's saying basically that some of the things Diddy did was likely because he was addicted to drugs. Okay, and that's the argument they don't want entered. Okay, that's what they're trying to fight against now, but that isn't what he's charged with. And so that also, they don't like that they're saying that he said that's not what he's charged with. Like, basically, y'all are going to try to use certain things against him, but that's not even the case that he's charged with. Now, in the podcast, Mr. Geragos advises listeners he'll discuss it next week further. As the defendant has repeatedly observed in the context of seeking relief, okay, hold on. Where was I? Let me scroll down some. Okay, so additionally, in seeking government intervention under the rule as recently as April 28th of 2025, the defendant has complained that lawyers for government witnesses have commented on pretrial litigation and continue to broadcast pretrial statements. Here, for the same reasons of concerns of the effect of pretrial publicity on a fair trial, the government respectfully requests the court to remind Mr. Geragos and the defense team of their obligations pursuant to Local Rule 23.1. Respectfully submitted, Jay Clayton, United States Attorney. Okay, and y'all pay attention because they got Maureen Comey on here, Meredith Foster, Emily A. Johnson, Christy Slavic, Madison Reddick Smizer, Mitzi Steiner. All of these are the assistant United States attorneys, and they are all white women. Now, mind you, Maureen Comey is who? She's the daughter, as Mark Geragos said on yesterday, she's the daughter of James Comey, the former director of the FBI. Okay, and they say that she is a shark. All right, that's what they say. They said this woman is a shark, honey, and she gives some very good closing arguments and opening statements. Okay, so they're probably going to get her to do that in Diddy's case, because I did hear that she was very good at it. And anyway, so they're clearly pressed about Mr. Geragos, okay, being involved in this. Now I'm going to share the jury questionnaire just so you all can see what all they have on here. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Like I said, I'll just read the headlines of it, or the bold print, basically. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Then we got to talk about Oprah, honey, because her and Bishop T.D. Jakes think they are so slick, honey. Y'all think we don't know what you're up to? Okay, so as you can see, let me close out this tab here. Okay, as you can see, this was filed on yesterday, okay? The preliminary instructions. So they're instructing the jurors, okay, so please read the following instructions carefully before completing any portion of this questionnaire. Please print your juror number in the space provided at the top of each page. Do not write your name on the questionnaire. Please please answer each and every question fully. Some questions have more than one part. Okay, you are sworn to give the truth and complete answers to all questions in this questionnaire. All right. Do not discuss your questions and answers or the case with anyone now or until further instructed by the court. Do not do your own research in the case. Now, they give them a summary of the case that says this is a criminal case brought by the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. The defendant is Sean Diddy Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, and all the rest. Okay, Mr. Combs has been charged in an indictment alleging a number of crimes, including racketeering or RICO conspiracy, as trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution, kidnapping, arson, and we already know the charges. Now, they have the schedule on here. Potential jurors will be called back for further questioning, and jury selection from Monday. Now, mind you, they have like 19 jurors who made it through the first proceedings who will go on forward today. Okay, so there was 19 from yesterday. Altogether, they have like 190 people, I believe. We'll get to that in a minute because I have the receipts. Anyway, so the trial will commence on Monday, May the 12th at May the 12th, 2025. The trial is expected to last about 8 weeks. Generally, trial will be held 5 days per week, Monday through Friday. Now, during the first week of the trial, from Monday, May 12th, through Friday, May 16th, trial will be held from 9:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. After the first week, trial will be held from 9:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. Trial will not be held on Friday, May the 23rd, because that's the Friday before Memorial Day. Monday, May the 26th is Memorial Day, and then Thursday, June the 19th is Juneteenth, and then Friday, July the 4th. Okay, so it won't be in session on any of those days. If you are selected as a juror, you will be required to be present for the taking of testimony and evidence for as long as the trial lasts. There are no plans to sequester the jury, which means you will go home every day after court. Now, I'm sorry, but I think that's crazy. They're not going to sequester them? That, to me, is very interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting to me. Now, here's the questionnaire. Okay, that's how long it is. All right, a whole lot of questions, honey. Okay, so they're trying to vet these people as carefully as they can, but the bottom line is you can only do so much, because at the end of the day, people can always lie, which some of them, will. Okay. Reggie said, I wonder what I'd do if I were a juror. Well, honey, I know what I'd do. First of all, I'd be leading the charge. Okay. I'd be leading the charge. All right. I'd be the jury foreman, first of all. I'd be telling everybody what we're going to do. This is how it's going down, people. Y'all need to listen. Okay. Now, I've been following this since the beginning. I have all the receipts. Okay. That's what I'd be doing. Okay. So anyway, with that all being said, now let's talk about these celebrities, because y'all know it's nefarious. Okay. Celebrities name dropped in Diddy's trial. Now, yesterday I told you all about Kanye, Mike Myers, and Michael B. Jordan. Now, they still have not said why these people's names are on here. They haven't said if they're going to be testifying against Diddy as witnesses, or they haven't said if they're co-defendants. They haven't said anything. So we just don't know as of yet. So here's what they say. First celebs name dropped in Sean Diddy Combs' trial as jury is read list of A-lister stars that could be mentioned. A list of 190 names was presented to potential jurors in the S crimes case against Sean Diddy Combs, but the context around each is still unclear. 190 names. Now, jurors at Sean Diddy Combs' sensational S trafficking trial could hear a slew of celebrity names dropped. Okay, including Kanye West, Michael B. Jordan, and Mike Myers, when testimony kicks off next week. Now, during the first day of jury selection in the Manhattan federal S crimes case against Combs on Monday, a group of potential jury panelists will read a long list of names that might be mentioned throughout the trial. Now, this list includes controversial rapper Kanye West, who goes by Ye, and 2 famous actors. Now, the prospective jurors were asked if they knew any of the names on the list or anything about the people that could preclude them from being biased during the case. Okay, a handful of potential panelists claimed they didn't know any of the names of the celebrities. No context was given on how the names might come up as the trial kicks off, including whether they could be mentioned in testimony or even called as witnesses. Now, the potential jurors were also asked if they had seen a video of Combs allegedly shoving and kicking and dragging Cassie. Okay, let me skip past all of that. So other known names that could surface at trial include rapper Kid Cudi, former Destiny Child member Michelle Williams, singer Dawn Richard. Okay, now I'm about to tell y'all something right here. I'm about to tell y'all right here. So now I know who it is. Do you all remember? I want you all to pay attention. Do you all remember? Hold on. Say what now? Somebody said Michael B. Jordan was dating Cassie and Diddy threatened him. He did. He was. Hold on. Let me look that up, honey. I don't know anything about any of this, okay? I hope that's all he was doing, because, Lord, with that movie out, Sinners, we don't need him to get a bad rap, okay? And then the movie, they are already criticizing it and all that, saying it's racist. Okay, hold on for just a second. Okay, I'm looking into this to see if Michael B. Jordan dated Cassie. Michael B. Jordan's name has reportedly been dragged into the trial over a similar reason as the Black Panther star went on a date with Cassie in 2015, which again reportedly upset Combs. Okay. A source familiar with the case told Variety that Jordan will not be a witness. Jury selection is scheduled to conclude on May the 12th. So an insider says that he won't be a witness. Well, why is his name being used? Anyway, let me continue. Thank you for that tidbit of information. Okay, because I surely didn't know that. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, they say Kid Cudi, young Dallas Austin. Oh, let me finish what I was going to say about Don Richard. Okay, so remember the other day I told you about the prior bad acts, and I told you that there was like 3 people, I believe it was like 3 or 4 people that the prosecution wanted to come in and give testimony about Diddy or whatever, and the judge said no to all but 1. And I told you, if this person is somebody who's filed a civil suit against Diddy for assault or whatever, and they come in there and testify, that's prior bad acts. Okay, that's why Harvey Weinstein got a retrial right now, got his conviction overturned. But guess what? This is what they're doing, because now I know who the person is. It's Don Richard. Okay, singer Don Richard. She has already filed a civil case against Diddy. Why are they putting her in this criminal case? Okay, I'm telling y'all right now, if Diddy's convicted, honey, his case is going to be overturned. Okay, it's going to be just like Harvey Weinstein. I'm sorry, it's true. What are they thinking? But let me continue. So anyway, goes on to say Dallas Austin, music producer Dallas Austin, and rapper Young Miami, who dated Combs, according to the defense and prosecutors. Some of Combs' family members also could be mentioned. Jordan, the star of Creed in the hit movie trilogy, briefly dated key prosecution witness Cassie. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't read this article, and I'm sitting here looking it up on Google, and it's literally right here in my face. Okay, but anyway, so Austin, who's written and produced songs for musicians including TLC, Pink, Gwen Stefani, and Aretha Franklin, could surface because he dated late actress Kim Porter, who had several children with Combs. I did not know that Dallas Austin dated Kim Porter. Okay. Anyway, Richard, a former member of the music group Danity Kane, which was founded by Combs, is one of many women. Richard is one of many women who has sued the defendant alleging sexual assault. See, do y'all hear this? She's one of many women who has sued him. This is not good. Easy said Cassie was a pass around. Well, I don't know if I'm not going to say she was necessarily a pass around, but what I will say is she seems to me like she was an opportunist. Okay, I'm sorry, it's true. Cassie was dating Ryan Leslie, who was helping her with her career, trying to get her a deal and all that stuff with Diddy. And then she leaves him for Diddy. Okay, she probably was like, honey, I don't need you anymore. You're small fry compared to him. I just think that she's an opportunist. Okay, now some of y'all might disagree, but that's my opinion. Okay, so anyway, they go on to say, hold on. Okay, she recently sued the defendant, Diddy, for sexual assault. They should not be allowing Don to have anything to do with this trial. This is not going to work out good. Okay, now they say Miami, whose real name is Carisha Brownlee, was in an open relationship with Combs until sometime after the bombshell charges were made against him. Now, I can guarantee you that we already know that Carisha is going to be speaking at the behest of Diddy for the defense. I can't say I know, I would assume, because she would be someone who could corroborate for Diddy that he was a swinger and that they had all these multiple people that they do things with. Okay. Measure Man says Dawn was trying to get her kids back from the state. Okay, but what's that got to do with her testifying in Diddy's case, beloved? That don't have anything to do with this. So anyway, a $30 million lawsuit by one of Combs' former male employers, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, claimed Miami was one of 3 women paid a stipend in exchange for S work. She's denied the allegation. Ventura is expected to testify about her time dating Combs when he allegedly forced her into so-called freak-off sessions. She's also likely to tell jurors the infamous hotel corridor video of her and Combs. Potential jurors were also asked if they've seen the horrific video of Combs beating Ventura. 3 other alleged victims are also slated to be witnesses. Superstar Jennifer Lopez could also potentially be mentioned at trial since she dated Combs from 1999 to 2001, but her name didn't come up on Monday. Now, Combs famously hosted parties attended by VIPs in the entertainment industry and had connections to many A-listers. The Fallen Bad Boy Records founder is accused of forcing women into drugged-up sex marathons with male prostitutes for Combs' sexual gratification. Prosecutors have claimed the mogul carried out his criminal enterprise for roughly a decade, roping in his employees who helped to orchestrate freak-offs. Let me tell y'all something. Here's the problem. DJ Big Six said, where's Farnsworth Bentley? Good question. But here's the thing. I have some other interesting information about Diddy. I'm going to tell y'all too, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow. But here's the thing. Now, I have several questions about all of this because they're talking about Diddy having these people, you know, making them have these freak-offs. But I want you all to tell me what you all think. Because if Diddy was forcing these women to have freak-offs with these male S-workers, okay, and then the S-workers, some of them are likely going to testify and say, yes, Diddy forced them all to do it. He forced the women and he forced them. So you mean to tell me Diddy just had everybody so scared? Nobody stood up to Diddy? Okay, so if the women in the room didn't want to do it and the men in the room didn't want to do it, why did they do it? Was Diddy going to beat all of their arses? What was he going to do if they all just stood up and said, no, we're not doing it, Diddy. Do it yourself. Go get some other freaks. Go get your rocks off some other way because we're not doing it, okay? We don't want to, Diddy. But they did it. And you know why they really did it? Because they got paid to do it. Okay, they got paid to do it. And the defense is going to drive that home. Okay, so please pay attention. This case is shoddy as hell as far as I'm concerned. That's why the prosecution is pressed about Mr. Mark Geragos. All right, so anyway, actually, they should have let me be the prosecutor on this case because Diddy be going straight to jail with the gasoline draws on. Okay. Now, they go on to say that Combs, who has been held without bail since his September arrest, has pleaded not guilty. His team claims all of the alleged victims are his former girlfriends and that their parts in his admittedly kinky sex life was all consensual. No jurors were selected Monday. The vetting process will resume Tuesday, okay? And the judge is hoping to see the panel by the end of Wednesday. Well, Mark Geragos said he thinks it'll probably be till Thursday. Now, mind you, out of all the people I spoke with yesterday, only 19 of them made it through to the next round. Okay, and that still doesn't mean they're going to be for sure. They could get cut at any point. So opening statements are scheduled to begin Monday, May the 12th. The trial is expected to last for 2 months. Jurors will be shown disturbing video footage of the freak-offs. Now, see, they're not going to show that video of Diddy beating Cassie's butt, but they're going to show the disturbing video of the freak-offs. Right, which Combs allegedly frequently recorded. It's unclear whether the press and public will be allowed to see the footage. Honey, I don't want to see it, okay? I do not want to see it. Testimony could also include shocking details such as the fact that the feds found at his mansion 1,000 bottles of baby oil and other personal lubricants, which prosecutors say Combs used for his sex marathons. Now, I want you all to pay attention because for all of these people that have been sitting up here saying that Diddy put GHB in the baby oil, and they were saying that they were falling out, they couldn't control their body and all of that. These people that filed all these civil suits, they're not saying anything about that. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. They haven't said anything about that, and I'm sure by now the feds have tested that stuff to see if there was anything in it. Cookie said, Queen, this ain't smelling right. No, it's not smelling right. Okay, now Diddy goes to prison. Diddy should go to prison for based off of the evidence and the facts of the case. Not because he's being railroaded. I don't give a damn if Diddy's done dirt or not. I don't like to see anybody getting railroaded, specifically somebody who looks like me. Okay? Panther Strike said, Queen, I really don't want to see it or imagine the smells. Okay? Not imagine the smells. Reggie said, if you've seen one of those types of tapes, you've seen them all. Okay, Reggie. D Major Scaling said facts and evidence only. Exactly, beloved. Okay. That's right. We do have a constitution. Exactly. Okay. They are doing too much. Passport Shogun said, you do want to see it, LOL. No, I actually don't. I actually don't because I don't watch corn. beloved. And that's what that is. And you know why I don't watch corn? Let me just tell y'all something real quick. For those of you that follow me on the spiritual channel, honey, y'all know I've told you a myriad of times that when you engage in such things that are abominations to the Most High, and you do, look at certain things like corn, for example. Now, y'all can research this if you want to, but at the end of the day, this thing draws demonic entities to you. It draws nefarious entities. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having sex, but I'm just saying when you're doing it with multiple people and it's like a freakazoid thing or whatever you want to call it, swingers, swap outs or whatever, orgies, whatever. When you're doing all of this stuff and record it and other people watch it, that's corn. Okay? And as I've said, corn absolutely draws nefarious entities. Now, that's just my opinion. Queen Sam said, Queen, don't put the man in gasoline draws. Hashtag burning. Oh, okay. Cookie says she never watched corn. Cookie, stop telling tales. Okay. You never watched it, beloved? I believe you. Okay. Oh my goodness. TM says looking for research purposes only. OG Patrice said it draws sexual deviance. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Reggie said it's S magic. Stop it. Mm-hmm. Reggie also said, sidebar, whatever happened to that nefarious cop who shot that black woman in the face? Shot what black woman in the face, beloved? Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not sure about that, beloved. I'll have to look into it. Maybe you can email me some information. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, there's going to be possibly a bunch of A-listers at Diddy's trial. But one thing is that yesterday I was kind of surprised when they found out that one of the potential jurors is an HBO staffer. And now, why is that important? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, because there was a documentary about Diddy. There was a documentary about Diddy, and this person was one of the people who participated in some way or whatever. Okay, HBO staffer in publishing, HBO staffer in, publishing employee out, as jury selection in Sean Diddy Combs' trafficking case or trial continues. So they say a week before opening statements are set to start in the criminal trial that could see Sean Diddy Combs spend the rest of his life in prison, picking a jury has moved ahead faster than expected, but not without some twists and turns. 7 women and 4 men have made it to the next round of jury selection in the Bad Boy Records founders' trafficking and racketeering trial, with 4 other potential jurors excused and sent home before lunch on the first day of the courtroom jury screening. Now, one, a marketing and communications executive at publishing house Simon & Schuster, was let go because the imprint is about to release a memoir by the Grammy-winning R&B musician Al B. Sure. Now, you all remember that some months ago, I reported to you that Al B. Sure was talking about doing a memoir and a documentary about his life. And he also had attorney Benjamin Crump with him because I think he's supposed to be helping him or whatever. Okay, so anyway, they go on to say, Sure is a fierce Combs critic who was married to Kim Porter before they split, and she became involved romantically with Combs. Porter died in 2018. And Sure has publicly applauded the federal case against Combs, suggesting she too was victimized by the fallen rap mogul. Now, the excused jury candidate, identified only as juror number 37, said she hadn't worked on the book's promotion, but had reviewed a press release for the forthcoming memoir. The book finds Sure leveling a number of accusations against Combs. The jury candidate also did note that she may have a book, or she may have read the book, that was enough for defense lawyer Mark Agnifilo and for Judge Aaron Subramanian to agree that the juror's work made her a problematic choice. So, it was another sign of how much publicity and media activity surrounds Combs' case, okay, as the judge and lawyers try to assemble a jury that will listen to the evidence with open minds and evaluate the case fairly, whether or not they already know something about it. Of the 150 jury candidates on the court list on the first day of the jury selection, clearly several did know something or had some potential exposure to the subject of Combs as a defendant in a federal criminal case. Now, one potential juror who works for HBO made it to the next round despite a protest from Agnaphilo that HBO aired a documentary miniseries titled The Fall of Diddy that cast his client in a negative light. Now, Subramaniam, who admitted that he didn't know about the documentary until Agnaphilo mentioned it, waved the jury candidate through, but said she will face additional questioning in the next round. I don't think they should have let her through. I absolutely don't think they should have let her through. I'm telling y'all right now, Diddy's convicted. This too is going to be used upon appeal. Now, 3 women who were questioned and are still prospective jurors said they had been victims of sexual assault, but said they felt they could judge the case fairly. No, they can't. I'll guarantee you they can't. Okay, no, they can't. Okay, I have a very close friend who was assaulted, and I think I already told you all this. And then she was sitting up there talking all this trash about Bill Cosby and saying that Bill Cosby admitted to stuff in the deposition. I'm like, no, he didn't. Did you really listen to the deposition? At the end of the day, people have biases, and sometimes they don't even realize it. They think that they cannot be biased. But sometimes in certain cases, especially something as traumatic as sexual assault, no, you're usually going to side with the victim. That is just how it goes. Okay? So anyway, let me continue. All of this is not going to be good. It's not going to be good because every bit of this is going to come back to haunt the prosecution. Okay, I promise you it is. The case, if convicted, is going to be overturned. Just remember, I told you all that. Okay, so anyway, goes on to say several had seen the CNN footage or still image from the same video of Diddy appearing to assault his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Okay, one woman jury candidate wrote in an earlier jury questionnaire saying that the image could be damaging evidence, but she said on Monday that she could put it out of her mind while hearing evidence. The government has said it plans to introduce video of the assault, but not the television aired version seen by CNN viewers. Okay, see, that's what I was confused about yesterday. Do you all hear this? Remember yesterday when I first said they're not going to use the CNN version? And I said, so they're probably going to use that cell phone version because I don't think they have the original because CNN supposedly, allegedly destroyed it or whatever. So then later it was said that they weren't going to use the video. So it looks like they're going to use another video other than the one that they claimed was chopped and spliced. But that's interesting because don't you all remember also when I was giving you updates on the jury selection process that one of the AUSAs said basically when they were trying to get rid of a juror because she'd seen the video, she said, oh, but we're not even going to use the video. That's what she said. She said, oh, we're not even going to use the video. She didn't specify CNN's version. She just said they weren't going to use it. Okay, so with that all being said, honey, I don't know if they're going to use it or not, but if they do, that'll just be another notch for the defense to have to use later to try to get the case overturned. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, they say hundreds of potential jurors began being interviewed starting Monday for Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial in a case that could see the one-time mini mogul behind bars for life if found guilty, making a joke that the process of selecting a panel for the Combs trial resembles the density of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. The judge openly expressed during the session, or the judge opened the session by informing potential jurors and the courtroom that he expects the multi-charge trial to last up to 8 weeks. That's 8 weeks from when opening statements start, okay, with the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Southern District of New York, and Mark Agnaphilo and Tina Geragos' lead legal team begins May the 12th. Now, as he has been for almost every hearing since his arrest in September, a sweater-wearing Combs was in court this morning. Okay, the much accused, It's All About the Benjamins performer came straight to the packed Manhattan courthouse from the Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. Okay, I don't think we need to go into all of this, but they were talking about, hold on, they're saying something about Trump. Hold on, let me just read all of this, and I was going to skip past it, but Okay, they say jury selection for Combs' case comes more than 6 months after the Bad Boy Records founder was arrested in New York City's hotel lobby, claiming innocence and entering a not guilty plea. The 55-year-old Combs initially faced one claim each of racketeering, S trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, last month, indictments involving forced labor allegations and 2 additional charges of S trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution were also added. Amidst disarray at the powerful Southern District of New York office since Donald Trump returned to power, Combs was offered a plea deal with a reduced sentence. The defendant rejected the deal, he told the court last week. Now, wait a minute. I want you all to pay attention. Why did they mention Donald Trump returning to power? Okay, did y'all catch that? Amidst disarray at the powerful Southern District of New York office since Donald Trump returned to power, Combs was offered a plea deal with a reduced sentence. Okay, so you know what that tells me? That tells me that they offered him that plea deal because they think that Trump may pardon him. Because clearly they know that Trump was at some of those parties that Diddy was hosting. But I just don't believe it because Diddy already talked trash about Trump. So the defendant rejected the deal, and he told the court this last week. The 4 victims listed in the indictments, the feds alleged that Combs and his inner circle coerced ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, other women and men in marathon sexual encounters called freak-offs. The sessions are alleged to include male and female prostitutes. Okay, so the testimony of victim 1, aka Ventura, who filed a quickly settled $30 million lawsuit for assault and abuse against Diddy in November of 2023, could prove pivotal in the trial. Despite the efforts and legal moves of the defense, Subramanian has decided the jury will see the brutal 2016 Los Angeles hotel security footage of a half-naked Combs chasing and escaping Ventura down a hallway, beating her and dragging the singer back to her room where a freak-off was underway. Now, I'm going to tell you all like this. Mark Geragos said this, and I believe him. He said that was not about a freak-off, the fight between her and Diddy. You all remember. He said that wasn't about a freak-off. He said it was over Diddy's phone. Cassie was trying to take his phone or something like that. So does that make a difference in him beating her? No, probably not. But it does, if that can be proven, it does paint Cassie as a little liar. Okay, it paints her as a liar because she said that it was due to a freak off that she was trying to leave, but they said that they got into it over the phone. Okay, so honey, this is all gonna be a hot mess. Now, however, while the judge today says we're not going to be able to have a jury that has not seen that footage, it is unclear how much of the jurors will see and what version they will see. Well, I have to agree with the judge on that respectfully. Yeah, it's probably going to be difficult to find a juror who hasn't seen it. Some of them will lie and say that they didn't, but they likely have, just as the rest of us have. Now, the video, which Combs bought for $50,000 the day after the event, was first made public by CNN last spring, and it's widely seen as the most damning piece of evidence against Combs. After the footage was broadcast wall to wall on cable news, Combs apologized for the attack. He has since deleted that apology from his social media, and his attorneys have tried to undermine the footage from a variety of angles. It's not that they've tried to undermine it. They have undermined it, okay? They absolutely have. Okay, so aiming to get a jury out of more than 150 prospects in the next 3 days, Judge Subramanian also noted that the trial will run at 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. As for the first round of jurors, all of whom already filled out an extensive questionnaire on their fitness for the trial and knowledge of the high-profile case, there have been discussions of celebrity relationships. Michael B. Jordan and Mike Myers came up. Family connections and careers, instances of sexual abuse, and the death penalty, as is the norm during cases like this. Okay, so anyway, I also heard that Capricorn Clark was going to be testifying against Diddy. I heard that Capricorn Clark is going to be testifying. Well, I'm not going to say she's testifying against Diddy. I just heard she was testifying. So I don't know if it's against him or for him, but I would imagine that it would likely be against him because, no, she is testifying against him. I just thought about it. Yeah, her ex-boyfriend who used to be the person in charge of Sean John, who used to be a designer for Sean John. Yeah, he did an interview And he basically said that she's going to testify against Diddy, in which I'm not surprised because Diddy supposedly slapped her or he hit her some years ago, which is why I always wondered how the hell is Lauren London so cool with Diddy, saying that Diddy's like a brother to her when he slapped your sister allegedly. Okay. Timex Love said, who is Capricorn Clark? She used to be Diddy's assistant, and she also is the sister of Lauren London. Okay. And you all remember that video that I did about what was going on allegedly with Diddy and Lauren London. Okay. I showed y'all the receipts. I think I'm going to repost that because that's been like over a year ago that I did that video. But I think Diddy had something to do with Nipsey Hussle. Or he may have. I think he absolutely sent Lauren London on Nipsey Hussle. I think that. So I think I'll repost that video for those who missed it. Okay. So anyway, now let's talk about TD Jakes and Oprah. And yes, I did say Oprah. Okay, let's get into it, honey, because they think they are so damn slick. Now, first of all, let's not act like TD Jakes stepping down from his own church, okay, a week before the trial. Let's not act like that's not hella suspicious. Okay, let's not act like that's not hella suspicious. But what's even more suspicious is this. Okay, TD Jakes' business to find that purpose. TD Jakes, hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me make sure I have the right article. Okay, Bishop TD Jakes, businesses that find their purpose find their profit. Okay, so TD Jakes is out here giving away money, y'all. A whole lot of money. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell y'all why I think he's giving out this money in just a minute. So according to Dallas-based pastor and businessman TD Jakes, entrepreneurs and small business owners don't need to separate finding their purpose from earning profits. He says the stats really show that the most successful entrepreneurs are purpose-driven, not just profit-driven. This is what he explained to host Elizabeth Gore on Yahoo's Finance, the Big Idea podcast, saying, when you get in it because you have a compassion and a desire to meet a need, when your business finds its problem, it's found its purpose and it finds its profit. People who just do it for the money generally have a far less success rate than those who do it because they have an inner conviction that gives meaning to their lives, and the money just follows the meaning. Well, I agree with that. Now, Jakes, who is also the founder of TD Jakes' Real Estate Ventures, uses a mixed income model to address housing needs to the communities where he owns his real estate. Now, this increases the diversity in the communities while also addressing housing needs. He says the stats say that sociologically we do better when we have diverse communities. He says it solves the problem, and the best businesses solve problems. We have homelessness. We have people who have less than adequate housing. We have people who are moving up the economic ladder, and as their family dynamics change, they're scaling up, okay, and they're scaling down. So using properties to help create affordable housing isn't the only benefit of investing in real estate, he says. It's a passive stream of income that, for the most part, once you get it up and done, it's making money while you're asleep, and it's solving problems for people. It accrues in value. There are 1,000 reasons to be able to do it. Now, others looking to invest in real estate shouldn't limit themselves to their current neighborhood when purchasing property, he says. The world is more interconnected than we've ever been in life. Okay, and as he said this, he noted that money doesn't care about zip codes. He said, most of us think, I'm going to invest in my neighborhood, and that's good. But sometimes there are great opportunities in other cities and even other countries. And don't be afraid to branch out, because money doesn't watch street signs. As you invest into these different areas, you get a return, and you build relationships, and you become more global. All right, TD Jakes, thank you for that tidbit of information, beloved. But guess what? TD Jakes donated $500,000. Let's talk about it. Y'all, please be sure to hit the like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you in advance. Okay, so Oprah Winfrey joins TD Jakes to empower entrepreneurs at the 2025 Good Soil Forum. So the 2025 Good Soil Forum, one of the nation's premier gatherings for fostering entrepreneur success, returns to Dallas June 12th through 14th of 2025 at the AT&T Performing Arts Center, presented by Wells Fargo. Now this year, Oprah Winfrey joins TD Jakes for a one-on-one fireside chat as a powerhouse lineup of business icons are featured throughout the event, including founder, chairman, and CEO of Operation, John Hope Bryant, fashion designer and founder of The Fear of God, Jerry Lorenzo, financial educator, Wall Street Trapper CEO, and founder of Camille Rose, Janelle Stevenson, and entrepreneurs and TV host, Mahisha Dellinger. Now, the forum's convergence of minds and missions champions a business ecosystem built on access to capital and sustainable growth. Okay, bringing together visionary leaders committed to empowering the next generation of entrepreneurs. They say this year's theme, Transformation Agenda, is more than a discussion. It offers access to capital, inspiring keynotes, interactive workshops, and networking opportunities. Okay, and I want you all to pay attention because they've had this before, but they're saying this year they're giving you more than just a discussion, because normally they just be talking about stuff and giving you insightful information. But now they're going to be giving tangibles, okay, clearly. It's a movement uniting thought leaders, business pioneers, and innovators to break barriers, to create pathways and accelerate economic progress for small businesses. Now, Winfrey's involvement reinforces the mission to equip small business owners with the resources and the capital and connections needed to build lasting generational wealth. They say the Good Soil movement is one of the nation's fastest growing small business ecosystems, creating pathways for entrepreneurs to succeed. It provides access to startup capital, resources, and connections from the ground level to the boardroom. Over the past 2 years, it has invested nearly $1 million in small businesses through its seed capital pitch competition. Now, the 2025 Good Soil Forum builds on its momentum, okay, offering small business owners access to strategic partnerships, investors, and industry-leading insights. Now, with approximately 65% of business owners relying on personal or family savings to fund their businesses, the Good Soil Forum aims to bridge this financial gap by providing tangible funding opportunities, mentorship, and essential resources to help entrepreneurs scale without solely depending on personal assets. This event is a gathering and a movement dedicated to ensuring capital and opportunity reach those who need it the most. Now, as one of the nation's most significant forums focused on small business ownership, the event is going to feature educational fireside chats and breakfast sessions, interactive panels with top executives and entrepreneurs sharing insights on growth strategies, leadership, and financial empowerment. The $500,000 capital pitch competition. Now, they say this is presented by Wells Fargo, the title sponsor of the Seed Pitch Capital Competition and Good Soil Forum. This expanded competition awards $500,000 seed grants to entrepreneurs. Okay, and you know, TD Jakes, if I'm not mistaken, he has some kind of deal with Wells Fargo. Hold on. Yes, TD Jakes and Wells Fargo have a strategic partnership, okay, that includes a potential $1 billion in capital and financing over 10 years to build inclusive communities. This partnership aims at creating economic opportunities and revitalizing neighborhoods. Okay, so he's getting Wells Fargo to do this. Now, with that all being said, they're going to have networking and marketplace opportunities, and it's a curated space for entrepreneurs to connect with investors, business leaders, and all of that. They say for too long, entrepreneurs, especially those from undercapitalized communities, have been left without the support and access they need to thrive. The Good Soil Forum is about more than ideas. It's about action. We're convening power to ensure today's dreamers have the capital, mentorship, and networks to turn their visions into sustainable enterprises. Now, first of all, let me say this. They say the 2025 Good Soil Forum promises to be a landmark event in Dallas, bringing together visionaries and change makers to build a future where small businesses can thrive at the highest levels. As the event continues to expand its reach, its mission remains clear: to plant the seeds of opportunity, cultivate innovation, and yield lasting economic empowerment. Well, that's awesome as far as I'm concerned. But here's the thing. Oprah getting involved all of a sudden, I wonder if this has anything to do uh, with the fact that she's been subpoenaed for that case that has something to do with Russell Simmons. Okay, remember that lady was saying that Oprah was supposed to be there for them. She was supposed to be a part of the documentary and all of that, and then the whole thing fell apart, and Oprah backed out and all of this stuff. And Oprah gave a different reason than the accusers gave for why she backed down. Okay, and in my opinion, Oprah was covering for Russell Simmons. That's just my opinion. Now, when she's sitting there saying that they had inconsistencies in their stories and she didn't want to move forward because of X, Y, and Z, to me, she was caping for Russell. Okay, that's what she was doing, in my opinion. I just think that she was covered up for, which I find that all very interesting. But now, since she's been getting some backlash for some of that, now I think she's trying to join in this thing with TD Jakes. And another thing is, back in February of 2024, and I want you all to pay attention, okay? Because right after Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, and then the other lawsuits that came after, it was February the 9th of 2024 when TD Jakes' foundation donated $500,000 to help build a grocery store with healthy and affordable food options in the Laney Walker area. Okay, y'all don't think that was a slick move? I mean, I'm just saying, he stepped down a week before the trial, and then you're giving out all this cash. That's all I'm saying. Now, TD Jakes, are you trying to win favor from the public? And here's the thing. Now, one of the reasons that he would step down is of course, if anything was going to come out, and I'm not saying anything is going to come out about TD Jakes, but at the end of the day, he doesn't know, likely, whether it will or not, because I've already shown you all video footage, okay, that he was at some of those Diddy hosted parties. All right. So with that all being said, looks like he might be trying to cover his tracks is all I'm saying. Now, some of y'all might be members of his church and y'all going to get mad. But hey, I'm just telling you my point of view and my opinion. I could be absolutely wrong, but I also could be absolutely right. And another thing is for him to step down and then say that his daughter's going to be in charge. Now, I want you all to pay attention because he did this like a week ago. But I told you all months ago that TD Jakes was stepping out. Matter of fact, I told you like a year ago that TD Jakes was going to step down and that he was saying that his daughter was going to take over. And all of this was on the heels of Diddy being accused, okay, and him being named as somebody who was at those nefarious parties. DJ Big Six said, connect the dots, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so with that all being said, here's what I'm thinking. TD Jakes has decided to leave the church to his daughter and just go ahead and step down because in case if anything comes out, yeah, he doesn't want that to be a bad reflection upon the church. And then if his daughter's already in charge and she's now the new minister and pastor and all of that, well, people will not leave the church because his daughter is not the one that was at Diddy parties. His daughter is not the one who has ties to Diddy. Okay, and she's not the one that people have been gossiping about or any of those things. So with that all been said, the church would still be there, okay, and they'd still have all their members and still be making all their cash and coins, okay? That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying this is why he did it, but I just think that's why he did it. That's just my opinion, okay? Take from that what you will. All right, so they go on to say that he's giving out all this money, $500,000, okay? And Oprah joining, yeah, I definitely find it all suspicious. Okay, I definitely find it all suspicious. And here's the thing, like I already told you all, Andrea says, bingo, target hit, Queen, thank you. Because here's the thing, Kenneth said, Jakes had no choice, okay? Cookie said, you already know. All right, Jeff ATL said, yes, please let Mr. Have you ever been swallowed up be locked up. Not have you ever been swallowed up. Reggie said his son was arrested for solicitation too, allegedly. Yes, I do remember that, beloved. Okay. Jay Gray says these predators are covering for each other. I absolutely believe that, beloved. I absolutely do. Okay, please pay attention. And now let's just walk back some of the things that have been done. Okay, so for one, TD Jakes stepping down, leaving his daughter in charge of the church. Him and Oprah joining forces all of a sudden, okay, giving away all this cash for entrepreneurs or small business owners and whatnot, and helping people to get houses and this, that, and the third. And then also Ellen DeGeneres moving out of the country to the UK. And then you have Rosie O'Donnell talking about she's leaving. Then you have Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis talking about they're leaving. Okay, then you have who else was it? It was a bunch of people. I can't remember them all, but why are these people all just? And then you have Denzel coming out and telling us that he was shooting up dope and was drinking 2 bottles of wine for nearly a decade. Okay, and then kissed the man. And Denzel, why are you telling us all of this? Kanye coming out talking about what he did with his cousin. And then now Kanye's been named as somebody on that list. Okay, so I just have a bunch of questions as to why all this issue is going on. Okay, it could be nothing, but I absolutely think that it's something. I think that because of the timing of all of this, it could lead one to conclude that possibly this all has to do with Diddy and what's going to come out at this trial. Okay, now that's just my opinion. So anyway, honey, with that all being said, I just think it's all nefarious. Okay, so I'm gonna basically hold on. Let me make sure I don't leave out anything. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, jury selection continues. Let's go to this news report, and after this, I'm gonna conclude the broadcast, beloveds. But listen, Cookie said Hollywood has crashed. Okay, I'll say. Andrew says Oprah Winfrey and Helen DeGeneres, not Helen DeGeneres, a devil's spawn. That's how come they have all the money. It's not hard to work out, people. Okay. Okay, but that's Ellen DeGeneres. Maybe you called her Helen because she's from hell. I don't know. Okay, Reggie says Denzel setting up a narrative just in case. You already know. Oh, and then, I forgot that Denzel is now a pastor. Do y'all remember he got ordained? Denzel, please sit down somewhere, sir. Please sit down somewhere. Now, you're on the heels of turning 70. Okay. How old is Denzel? And now all of a sudden you want to be a pastor and give your life to God, honey, when you done gave your career to Satan, in my opinion. I mean, if you were shooting up and doing all that nefarious stuff that he said, not me. Okay. I'm sorry. I just think that he was living for the devil. Now he wants to get on God's side because the devil done left him high and dry along with Diddy. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Denzel is 70 years old. Yeah. So Denzel, please sit down somewhere, sir. Okay. You're 70 years old and now all of a sudden you're a pastor. Yeah, I have questions. Okay. I told you all that when it first came out. All right. So that's right. Jeff ATL said he turned 70 back in December. Yeah, he did. December the 28th to be exact, which is my oldest son's birthday. Okay. Which lets me know he's nefarious. No, I'm just joking. Okay. So anyway, with that all being said, we're going to see how this all turns out. Okay, Reg said baptized and filled with the Holy Spirit. Okay. But let's go to this video. I'm going to share my screen. You all, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, Cook said the devil is very busy. Songwriter Sonny said if Diddy was clever, he'd have Disney music playing during his freak-offs. Why would he do such a thing? Okay. Nessa G said, pastors are the biggest sinners. That is true in my opinion. Church people in general are nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Most of y'all. Okay, here we go.
Criminal trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs started today in New York City. The rapper and producer faces multiple charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Prosecutors allege Combs was the mastermind behind a years-long operation to sexually abuse women. He denies any wrongdoing and rejected a plea deal that could have resulted in a lighter sentence. He faces life in prison if convicted. We're joined now by Gina Barton, investigative reporter for USA Today. Thanks for being with us, Gina. So jury selection started today. What are you hearing from your colleagues in the courtroom about how hard it's going to be to find people to serve on this case?
The judge has estimated that it'll only take 3 days to pick a jury, but from how slowly things are going, it may take longer. They're interviewing each juror separately and individually. They have 150 people that they called in. One of them, they spoke to a single person for about 25 minutes. So it could take quite a while to find 12 jurors and some alternates.
And the complication is that there are very few people who don't know who he is, or at least know something about this case.
There are so many people who know about the case, who are familiar with Sean Puffy Combs, who have seen the video of him allegedly attacking his former girlfriend, Cassie, in a hotel hallway. And they're also asking jurors if they have ever been sexually assaulted or know anyone close to them who has been sexually assaulted, because they want jurors who are going to be objective and not have any thoughts about victimization coming in. And as you know, about 25% of women have had some sort of experience with sexual assault or sexual harassment. So that's another challenge.
His 17-page indictment, as I understand it, has been updated 3 times since September. What federal charges is he facing as of now?
As of now, he's facing 5 different charges. There is RICO, which is racketeering. There's sex trafficking, and then also bringing women across state lines for sex trafficking and for sexual exploitation and victimization. So there are a couple of different charges under each of those umbrellas. The important thing to point out is that the RICO charge, or the racketeering charge, also includes all sorts of other alleged conduct, arson, kidnapping, a whole bunch of other acts that could be considered crimes if he's found guilty.
And who are the witnesses we're expecting the government to bring?
I think for sure we're going to see at least 2 women who are charging that Combs sexually assaulted them. One of them would be his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who we have talked about as seen in that video. Another one we believe is Dawn Richard, who was on one of the seasons or a couple of the seasons of Making the Band on MTV. And she was in a group called Danity Kane and also a trio called Diddy, Dirty Money. She filed a pretty extensive civil suit against him. And from what I'm reading in the criminal court documents, she's very likely to be a witness. There are going to be 2 other victims testifying. We don't know their names yet, but I would assume that they are probably also going to be alleging some sort of sexual assault or abuse.
And just last week, Sean Combs rejected a plea deal. He says he's innocent. What are we expecting the gist of the defense strategy to be?
From what we've been able to find out in reading through the court records and going to some of the hearings, I think the only defense that he will be able to present is consent, because he's got these women saying the sexual encounters happened. They seized lots of video evidence from his homes. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these incidents are on video. And so all the experts I've talked to in the past week have said that his defense is likely going to be consent. And then one of my colleagues who was in court for a hearing last week heard them talking about swingers. So it sounds like the defense might say that Sean Puffy Combs was involved in kind of an alternative fringe sexual lifestyle with his girlfriends, trading partners, but that it was all consensual.
Gina Barton, investigative reporter for USA Today. Gina, thanks again for your time this evening. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you all heard that. Now we're going to talk about Kanye real quick before I roll out of here. Easy said the case is tainted. I believe it absolutely is. Okay. Cincy Prophetic Bastard said they were all so proud of selling their souls to the devil. Now they're crying like a bitch. Okay, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you on that, beloved. Okay. Now let's talk about Kanye West, because Kanye, beloved, how far have you fallen? Okay. How far have you fallen? Now listen to this. Kanye West claims his dentist gave him psychological trauma after he got him hooked on drugs. Kanye, you got yourself hooked on drugs. Because here's the thing. Now, of course, the dentist is nefarious for giving him the illegal substances, if he in fact did. But Kanye, you would have only gone to someone else to get it. And so if you have an addiction problem, that's your own fault, not the dentist, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now Kanye West and his wife, Bianca Censori, officially intend on suing dentist Dr. Thomas Connolly after the rapper allegedly developed a chemical dependency on nitrous oxide as a result of the medical professional's alleged misconduct. So didn't they say, because I reported this months ago, that Kanye was having this stuff delivered to his darn house? Kanye, please sit down somewhere, okay? Take responsibility and accountability for your own nefarious actions is all I'm saying. Now, so there was a letter obtained this publication obtained a letter of service or of notice informing Connolly of the couple's decision to move forward with the lawsuit, in which they accused the dentist of engaging in inappropriate and dangerous practices that were far outside the bounds of any legitimate medical purpose or standard of care. Okay, now they say they contacted Dr. Connolly's office for comment and did not receive a reply. However, last year, West Rep Milo Yiannopoulos, isn't he a wanted supremacist? Let me continue. Made essentially the same allegations against Connolly, which he denied. So West's treatment with Connolly began in or around 2024 for cosmetic dental care and other dental treatments. Now, the letter states and consisted of the placement of specialized prosthodontic work, okay, which is a custom titanium crown, basically. Y'all know that stupid ass Balenciaga crown that Kanye likes to wear, okay, and other cosmetic treatments. Now, the notice claims that Connolly provided improper and excessive administration of nitrous oxide for non-medical purposes that West became chemically dependent upon. They allege that in the notice that Connolly repeatedly administered or supplied nitrous oxide, which is laughing gas for those of you who don't know, okay, and or other sedative substances to Ye in quantities and frequencies that had no legitimate dental or medical justification. Kanye, you're snitching. Kanye is snitching. I want y'all to pay attention. Now, mind you, I'm not condoning what the dentist did, if in fact he did any of this. But what I'm saying is, Kanye, you're snitching. Because at the end of the day, if this man gave you this stuff, you paid him for it and you asked him for it. He didn't just come to your house with barrels of it. Okay. You asked him for it. So now you want to snitch. Okay. So they also claim that in the notice that nitrous oxide was provided to Kanye for purely recreational use, far beyond what would be used in any standard dental procedure. Now, the letter also alleges that Connolly delivered large surgical-sized nitrous oxide tanks to West's home, okay, including the residence he shared with Miss Sensori, which they claim effectively enabled and encouraged him to use the chemical outside of a medical setting. So is Kanye setting this up to say that the reason he's gone on these crazy rants and tirades is because he was high off nitrous oxide and it wasn't his fault, it's the dentist's fault? Is that what he's saying? Or is he saying that whatever he did with Diddy that might be on footage, that might come out during the trial, is why he did it, because he was addicted to nitrous oxide? I'm just curious, okay? It's a whole lot going on, okay? Specifically on the heels or the eve of Diddy's trial. Okay, are y'all paying attention? Now, Connolly's improper conduct was discovered by May of 2024. The letter adds that he was instructed to cease with the behavior, yet allegedly refused to do so. Okay, now you're getting crazy. So you mean to tell me this man was bringing you nitrous oxide by the tanks? You're taking it, you tell him to stop doing it, and he refuses? How about just not open your door when he shows up? How about just not pay him? Okay, what is he talking about? West's legal team also accused Connolly of permitting and encouraging unsupervised self-administration of the anesthesia or gas. Now, they allege Connolly instructed the rapper on how to self-administer nitrous oxide and allowed him to do so without any medical supervision or safeguards in place. Instead of administering sedation only under direct medical oversight, as required by, mind you, for patient safety, you left Ye to inhale nitrous oxide on his own, providing him the means with these tanks and masks, etc., and instructions to do so at will. That's what it says in the filing. The letter claims Connolly failed to ensure the use of any regular or safety measures, and also alleges that he was often not even present while Ye engaged in the inhalation. West's legal team further alleges Connolly continued treating the rapper despite clear adverse neurological and behavioral signs. Okay, now the letter alleges that Connolly continued to provide and authorize nitrous oxide to West even after he began displaying distressing neurological symptoms and erratic behavior consistent with nitrous oxide overuse and toxicity, which the letter says includes confusion, memory lapses, incoherence, unpredictable changes in mood, impaired motor function, and other cognitive and behavioral impairments. Yeah, Kanye West is using this. I feel like Kanye West is using this to just not have any accountability for things that he's done. Now, mind you, the dentist, if he was in fact delivering this stuff to Kanye or Milo Yiannopoulos, the bottom line is he needs to lose his license to practice, okay? Because that's very dangerous, all right? Someone could probably overdose on it. I don't know if you could, but I believe that you probably could, and then die from it, okay? And also, this is definitely problematic and illegal, I'm sure, okay? So he should lose his license at the very least. But I do not blame him for Kanye being addicted. Kanye, even if the man was giving you all this stuff, you took it yourself. And he admits that it was administered by himself. Okay, so he was self-medicating. So anyway, they allege that Cont'd was made aware that Ye was showing signs of dependency and neurological harm, including reports that he was frequently wearing an inhaler mask, obsessively discussing nitrous oxide, and displaying other signs of overuse and toxicity. However, he ignored the red signs or the red flags. They also claim that Cont'd has acknowledged in writing that his treatment of the rapper was improper. They allege that Cont'd had acknowledged in various written exchanges that include text messages and emails to West and his wife that he had made mistakes in his treatment decisions. These written apologies in which you conceded that you exercised poor judgment as a medical provider or engaged in wrongful conduct demonstrate your own recognition of wrongdoing. Despite these admissions, you failed to take timely corrective action. Well, he was definitely wrong for doing it, but Kanye needs to be held accountable. Okay, stop passing the buck and blaming everybody else for things that you willfully do yourself. That's what gets me about some of these celebrities. They do all this BS, and then it's supposed to be everybody else's fault. So the letter also accuses Cont'd of financially exploiting West through fraudulent billing and overcharging. They allege Cont'd charged extraordinary sums, reportedly on the order of $50,000 per month, and cumulatively reaching into the hundreds of thousands of dollars for the nitrous oxide supply and other related services. They say you bill these charges as dental treatment or anesthesia, when in reality, you are providing a recreational drug service. You also use your position to interfere with Ye's business, his personal and artistic endeavors, to include while Ye was undergoing dental treatment or impaired nitrous oxide or propofol provided by you. Now, y'all know that's what Michael Jackson was supposedly died of, right? An overdose of propofol. Now, this exploitation was done for your own profit and potentially in concert with business associates and constituents. Okay. I'm sorry, I said constituents, and constitutes not only professional misconduct, but also fraud and unjust enrichment. They also accuse Cont'd of improper provision of controlled substances, propofol, or similar substances. They claim Cont'd improperly administered a controlled substance, propofol, or a similar substance outside of a medical or surgical setting and or in amounts that were not medically appropriate. They cite on one specific instance in which Cont'd allegedly administered the drug at a hotel in Vegas. On another occasion, you administered the drug and then discharged the patient from your care prior to verifying his medical soundness. As a result, in this instance, Ye suffered extreme mental and physical distress, leading to urgent medical care. In another instance, evidence suggests additional improper use of propofol or similar controlled substances when Ye had administered capacity when Ye had diminished capacity and was not aware of or capable of knowingly consenting for the usage of this substance. And he's also accused of professional abandonment of West. Now, after subjecting him to the aforementioned improper course of treatment and fostering a dependency on nitrous oxide and other substances, you subsequently withdrew from his care abruptly without proper notice or transition. In or around early 2025, once the harmful consequences of your actions were becoming evident and scrutiny was continuing to rise, you ceased providing any treatment or support to Ye. You failed to ensure that Ye received any follow-up medical care, detoxification, or referral to specialists to address the nitrous oxide dependency and neurological damage that you negligently, recklessly, or knowingly caused. The letter says that the allegations represent a grave dereliction of duty on Connolly's part, and additionally call his actions and omissions negligent, grossly negligent, and reckless, and some may have been intentional and even malicious. As for the damages, the letter states that Kanye suffered neurological damage and physical harm as a result of prolonged nitrous oxide exposure. Why did Kanye want to take this stuff recreationally in the first place? Okay, make that make sense. Now, it adds that the nitrous oxide abuse that West allegedly endured under Connolly's care has caused lasting nerve damage with potential effects on his spinal cord function and his peripheral nerves. Wow. Additionally, the letter claims that West has suffered significant psychological trauma and emotional distress as a result. The experience of being unwittingly led into chemical dependency, coupled with the neurological effects of nitrous oxide, has exacerbated pre-existing conditions, according to the claims, adding that West suffered a severe worsening of his mental health due to Connolly's actions. Now, he experienced increased confusion, mood instability, anxiety, and depression. The betrayal of trust by a healthcare provider has also caused him anguish. Honey, his own actions should cause him anguish. His wife, Bianca, was also not spared, according to the notice, as she also allegedly suffered severe emotional distress, witnessing her husband's decline and distress during this period. The notice claims that Bianca also suffered loss of consortium as a result of the alleged actions. They claim she has been deprived of the companionship, support services, and marital relationship of her husband during the period of his injury and recovery. Instead of enjoying a healthy married life, she was forced to witness Jay's physical and mental distress and deterioration and to assume the burden of caring for him under extremely distressing circumstances. The loss of consortium and emotional distress inflicted upon Ms. Sensori are direct results of your actions toward her husband. As a result of the dependency West allegedly developed on the nitrous oxide, West has had to undergo or plans to undergo medical intervention to detoxify and recover from this dependency. The road to recovery from this induced addiction has caused and will continue to cause pain, suffering, and significant disruption to his life. The letter also claims that West suffered financial harm and economic loss. It alleges that he suffered substantial financial losses as a result of Connolly's alleged exploitation and consequences of his actions. The letter claims that West paid enormous sums of money to Connolly that were in excess of several hundred thousands of dollars for what were essentially illicit supplies of nitrous oxide and unnecessary services. These funds could have been used for legitimate purposes or remained in the client's estate. Well, that's Kanye's fault. Like, nobody, this man didn't put a gun to his head. Kanye asked for this stuff and he got it. Okay. Like, I don't like the fact that he doesn't want to accept accountability, because are you really trying to get better? Are you going to go to rehab? Are you going to get treatment for your issues? Because that would start with you admitting or accepting accountability for your actions. Okay. Like, make it all make sense. So anyway, it adds that West was unable to effectively engage in his professional endeavors as his health and capacities allegedly deteriorated under Connolly's watch. Okay, they also claim Connolly attempted to entice Kanye to hire him or engage in a business partnership to further his own financial interest while the rapper was in a compromised condition due to your treatment. The loss of artistic and professional opportunities translated into a significant loss of income and business profits that Ye otherwise would have earned. Okay, as a direct result of your egregious behavior, Ye lost a dozen key staff essential to the orderly functioning of his multi-billion-dollar business, his multinational music and fashion brand, including the majority of his management team, and you damaged and in some cases destroyed his relationships with countless other employees, vendors, professional contacts, and others. You know what Kanye's doing? I just thought about it. Okay, we will seek recovery for all such economic damages attributable to your misconduct. You know what? Kanye might be trying to build a defense because he's been sued for S assault, not just the Diddy stuff that that his name is in, but let's not forget this man was accused of S assault by two different women. Okay, one a former employee, his former assistant. Okay, so is that why he's talking about diminished capacity and talking about illegal substances? Did he get that from Diddy? Because Diddy is also talking about illegal substances being the cause for him to suffer from diminished capacity, which puts him out of character, makes him react violently and all of that. Okay, allegedly. Are y'all paying attention? This is all crazy. But anyway, okay, so last year, West Rep Milo made essentially the same allegations against Connolly in an affidavit. However, a rep for Connolly told TMZ at the time that claims made by Yiannopoulos were not only factually incorrect, but also intentionally misleading. Yiannopoulos was making up these claims for attention, Connolly's rep told the outlet, and was attempting to maliciously damage Connolly while doing so. Connolly's rep told TMZ that the dentist follows legal and ethical standards and will continue to do so. West has notably seen his career implode amid anti-Semitic and other offensive comments, beginning with a vile post in 2022 that he was going to DEFCON 3. Okay, that he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, which got him promptly dropped by his agency, CAA production company, MRC, and Adidas, Gap, and Balenciaga. Okay, so what do y'all think? Do y'all think that the dentist is solely to blame? Because I really don't. He is partially to blame, but not solely. Kanye needs to, like I said, he needs to take accountability. Hold on, you guys. So listen, there's a couple of videos. I'm trying to listen to them real quick to see if I can play these for y'all, because Kanye is going on a whole tirade, honey. Please pay attention. Okay, yeah, I can play it because they have it edited with the bleeps and all that. Honey, Kanye, please sit down somewhere. You sound like a whole damn idiot. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. TC Dan said per usual. Honey, you already know, honey. Okay. Kanye, you're going down bad. Okay. This is the dentist right here. That's the dentist right there that he's suing, Mr. Connolly or Dr. Connolly. Look at those tattoos. I don't know if I want a dentist who had all them darn tattoos, honey. Okay. I'm just saying, I don't want to stereotype people, but yeah, I wouldn't want a dentist with all them tattoos. Thank you, Reggie, for your super chat donation, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now let's go to this video of the dentist. This is some of his work, as you can see. Look at them tattoos, honey. Is that Hail Mary? What kind of dentist is this, son? Please pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention, because here's the thing. That dentist looks like he's in the hip hop industry, okay? Terry Ann Lacey said, truly flipping the script, going after the dentist, left my ass off. Okay. He needs to sit down somewhere, because he did this to himself, as far as I'm concerned. And this dentist looks like he's a hip hop, in the hip hop business, okay? I want y'all to see the difference in how Kanye looks. Look at him right here. Hold on. Kanye looks crazy as hell, okay? Kanye, look, this is the Kanye I know. This is the Kanye I know right here. But who the hell is this? Who in the tarnation is this? Kanye looks crazy as hell. He literally looks like a homeless person. Okay? He literally looks like a homeless person. Mel said, yay, mouth looks horrible. I mean, it does. Tara said, hip-hop dentals. I mean, he just looks nefarious as far as I'm concerned. But let me go to this video where he's on a whole rant. Hold on. He's going off on here about not being able to see his children, you all.
Yeah, academics put that battery in my back, bro. Because I was in the airport by myself, bro. That is so important to me, man. I mean, love you, bro. That meant everything to me, bro. I'm going to go get these kids, man. All these I'm going to go get these kids, bro. I'm talking to the lawyers. It gets to the point where I don't lose my mind. I'm like, I have to get used to that seeing my kids. Like, it'll be okay. And I'm not here to be your idol. I'm the leader. I'm not here to be worshipped. And as a leader, I'm saying, how I'm supposed to lead y'all if I don't got my kids with me to continue what we're doing? I ain't got no more legacy. So why the you think I'll be spazzing out?
Okay, Kanye, go ahead on and crash out, honey. Okay, go ahead and crash out because at the end of the day, this is all your own fault and your own doing. Now, don't get mad at everybody else and going in and talking about being the leader. How I'm supposed to lead y'all? Lead who? To where? What, when, why, and how? What are you talking about, sir? You can't lead anybody, okay, except for Bianca, who's clearly the blind being led by the blind is all I'm saying. Kanye, sit down somewhere, okay? Okay, Jay McClendon said, what it must be like to work for him, LOL. Okay, I know that's right. Terry Lacey said he don't need his kids, he needs Jesus or someone very close. Thank you. Okay, I agree. First of all, who wants their children around somebody who's clearly addicted to illegal substances and has said so himself? Not to mention the nefarious things we've heard him saying and the foolish things we've seen him doing in the past few months. Okay, he sounds ridiculous, is all I'm saying. Okay, so Terry Hinton said, I don't like him, but I don't blame her. I don't blame her either. Okay, Queen Sam said, children, say no to drugs. I mean, really? Okay, Claudette said, I wouldn't let him see the kids either. Honey, I wouldn't want my kids to see their father looking like that. So I wouldn't let them see his arse either. Okay, Kanye, get your life together first, okay? Now what he's doing, in my opinion, is he's not only setting up his defense in case some ish goes down with that Diddy stuff with his name involved, and also for these people that are suing him for S assault, but also trying to recoup some of his money. In my opinion, he's talking about all the money he gave that dentist. Well, honey, you gave it to him voluntarily. Okay, don't cry foul now. Okay, don't cry foul now. Gwendolyn, I'm going to delete your comment, beloved. Please be careful of the words you use in the chat. Okay, I don't like anybody, no matter what race or ethnic group you are, using racial slurs. Okay, let's not put racial slurs in the Queen's chat. All right. And also, Gwendolyn, I'm going to email you later, beloved, because I completely forgot about you the other day. Okay, so I'm going to email you and get that taken care of. Okay, so now with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget that I'll be right back at 2:00 p.m. We got to talk about this case, the eye for an eye, where the man took out this cop hours after his son was killed by a cop. Okay, and I also want to talk about Lil Durk. Some new stuff came out about him, so I think I'm gonna change the thumbnail because I forgot about the Lil Durk information that I have. Okay, so anyway, if that all been said, I will see you all at 2:00. Okay, please be sure to like and share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. And also, please double check to make sure you're still subscribed. I just checked and I see that ScrewTube has unsubscribed at least 4 people. Okay, at least 4 people. I'm telling y'all how they do. Okay. Love you to life, Queen. Thank you, beloved. And I love you right back. Hold on, I was trying to click on Jeff's comment because Jeff says, Queen chewed my ass out about using one a year and a half ago. So you still remember that, Jeff? Let's talk about a year and a half ago. Yeah, I don't like racial slurs. I don't use them, and I don't like for other people to use them. Okay, so with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. I was about to say that's how I grow and thrive. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. I think I'm going to turn my camera on for the next broadcast, okay? Right now, I'm still looking like ASAP Rocky because I went to the gym this morning. Y'all know the Queen started back working out, so please pay attention. So I went to the gym this morning, came home and took a shower, and didn't bother to get dressed or do my makeup or anything. So ASAP Rocky it is. With that all being said, and speaking of ASAP Rocky, I heard that Rihanna is pregnant again. Okay, so we'll talk about that later too. Okay, Christopher says, stay black, Queen. I don't have a choice, beloved, okay? I don't have a choice in the matter. Okay, so anyway, I love you all to life, okay? I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Hope to see you at 2 p.m. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives, okay? Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Cont'd. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got